So, all right. So, Jeff. So today you're the senior pastor of Roswell Pres. About how many folks are in that congregation?
So we have about 2,500 members. Then we have about 850 to 1,000 in worship on a Sunday. Easter Sunday, 3,000, maybe even more on a Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and in the Presbyterian church, that's a pretty large congregation.
Yeah, it's a very large congregation. And the cool thing that separates RPC and makes it distinctive is we have about a third of the congregation is 30 and under. A third is about 30 to 60, and a third is 60 and over. So the age demographic is really spread out nicely.
Yeah, I heard Isaac say, "Wow, was that you, Isaac, that said wow?" Yeah, because in a lot of churches, that's not the case.
Right.
It's typically not that kind of balance. You might have some that are more kind of cooler, hipper startup churches with younger congregation. A lot of congregations older demographics, aging demographics.
Yep.
So it's kind of had that balance.
Yeah, and so as a preacher, you got to think so. For one demographic, you want to talk about Drake, and another demographic, you want to talk about Frank Sinatra. And that you got to keep that in mind because you want to appeal to everybody and speak to everybody in their language that they understand.
Yeah, and in many ways, that makes it a lot harder in some ways to design a sermon because you've got to try and think, how do I get this message across?
Yeah, exactly. But for me, it makes it more fun because everything is material, and I can tell a story about my 1-year-old son. I can tell a story about my grandparents that relates to everybody. And it's really fun to be that creative and say, like the 75-year-old grandpa. I remember one Sunday he comes up to me. He's like, "Who is this Drake fella you've been talking about?" And I said, "Well, ask your granddaughter about him." And so the next day he comes into the church office and he goes, "I had no idea who Drake was. And my granddaughter was so impressed when I asked her about him." And so it was cool to, kind of help people learn about the world that they're not maybe familiar with so much.
Bridging the generations.
That's one thing I do.
One sermon at a time. It's beautiful. Love it.